folks keeping the barbarians from the gates.
I got into the labor movement not because I wanted to negotiate wages. I got into the labor movement because I saw it as a vehicle to do massive social change to improve the lots of people.
Let's take these son of a out and give America back to America where we belong. Thank you very much. Thank you.
As far as I'm concerned, the Tea Party can go straight to hell.
Hey, it's Greg Marshall along with Trucker Randy today. Brian is out on assignment right now, but Randy is definitely here, trim, fit, and figured and ready to get started with you this hour.
Hey, Greg, we're privileged to have on the line with us Congressman Dan Benishek, able to join the show. Good morning, Dan.
Good morning, Randy. How you doing, man?
Good, sir. How you doing?
Good. I'm driving over the Mackinac Bridge right now.
Oh, how's the Grand Hotel look?
I can't see it. There's too much fog.
I was going to say, probably a lot of fog up there this morning. We wanted to have you on the show, Dan, because, first of all, were you able to watch the presidential debate last night?
Yeah, I watched it. We got the
what did you think?
Well, I think Mr. Romney did a great job. I mean, he called the president out on the fact that, unemployment's above 8%, his policies have failed. And I think he did a pretty good job outlining his plan to bring our country back.
Right. One of the comments that was on all over Facebook this morning was that the president was off his game. There's some excuses going on around out there that maybe he was tired or maybe actually a little sick under the weather. I don't think there's any excuse. I just don't think he could run on his record or he was prepared that well.
Well, he certainly can't run on his record, Randy. I mean, that's, you know that. I mean, I know that our economy has stagnated for the last 4 years. He's still blaming Mr. Bush for the economy. You know what I mean? He hasn't done his job. He doesn't seem to understand what to do. I mean, I've been talking to... Yeah, go ahead.
One of the things that I was really impressed with, Mitt Romney in the debate last night said that when he was the governor of Massachusetts, he had 87% Democrat legislature to work with, and that he would make it a priority on day one to reach across the aisle and to try to work with the Democrats there in the Congress and Senate. What's your thoughts on that, how that would be taken by you, a congressman? How did you respond to those comments last night?
Hey, I thought that was great. I mean, it's true, he had to work with a lot of Democrats in Massachusetts. Frankly, the president, hasn't come to my office or, he sent his liaison team to my office once. The first month I was there, I never heard from the president since then. And as a matter of fact, the Democrats haven't heard from him either. I don't know who he's talking to in Congress, but, if he's trying to get some legislation passed, you'd think that he would have somebody come to my office and explain to me why I should be considering voting for his stuff, right? I mean, there's been no communication from the president whatsoever, not only to me, but to a lot of the Democrat guys I talk to. They never hear from the president.
Yeah.
He's just not engaged with the Congress. I mean, maybe he talks to, Nancy Pelosi. I know that Speaker Boehner, hasn't been able to get in touch with them anyway. Not talking to individual congressmen about, fostering legislation that'll move this country forward. And if Mr. Romney's going to talk to both sides, well, great. But, we want to move this country forward, improve the economy, get us out of debt, and, have some reasonable reform in healthcare, not, a complete takeover. So, I welcome those concepts.
Well, one of the things I want to focus on your race, and I got to be honest with you, Dan, I'm sitting here in my house watching these commercials that Gary McDowell, your opponent, and a lot of these PACs, super PACs, are running against you. And, I'm engaged, I'm informed, I'm on top of the subjects and everything that's going on. And I got to be honest, in my opinion, a lot of these commercials I'm seeing are flat-out lies that they're running against you. And I get so frustrated sitting here that I want to pull out my gun and shoot the darn TV because they're lies. And what are you doing to counteract all this negative attack ads that are being run against you?
Well, they have spent Gary McDowell and his Washington allies have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars in these false negative political attack ads against me. But, Gary McDowell has yet to tell anybody what he stands for. All right? I mean, if you go to Gary's website, there's nothing on it about positions on issues. He didn't tell us if he's for the Keystone Pipeline. Him, Nancy Pelosi, and the liberals, they talk about an all-of-the-above energy plan, but they're blocking Keystone Pipeline. They're blocking drilling on our federal lands. That's not all of the above.
Right.
The only thing we know about Gary is that he's for the new health care law that cuts Medicare by $716 billion and hurting our local businesses. As a doctor who's taken care of patients for the last 30 years, I know how important this program is. I want Medicare saved. I want our seniors today to be able to have it, and I want it there for future generations. But Gary supports the new health care law that cuts Medicare by, nearly $2 billion in the 1st District. I think it's like $60 billion in Emmett County. I mean, it's going to be tough for hospitals and providers to stay in business if you get $60 billion cut. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or $60 million right in your county. And, every single county in Michigan is affected in a big way. And I've talked to hospital administrators, doctors, across the district, and they're worried about keeping their hospitals open. So I want our seniors to have access. And frankly, my opponent is against that. And he doesn't have anything to run on because, he supports the president. The president's, got a losing, message as well. So,
right.
He doesn't have anything to say. And, he just attacks, me and says all these negative, inaccurate things about me, and that's his entire campaign.
Right. Well, one thing I wanted to share with you, Dan, my wife, Vicki, Vicki, just past year, went on Medicare, and she had no doctor in Traverse City in the Munson medical system that was willing to take her on as a primary care physician under Medicare. She had to go literally on calling 5-6 doctors there in the Munson system. They all refused to take her on as a new patient. She ended up having to go to Elk Rapids to find a doctor that would take her. Is this the kind of thing that's going to get even worse if Obamacare stays intact?
Well, of course. I mean, they're talking about cutting payments even more. I mean, I've been taking, like I say, Randy, I've been taking care of patients for 30 years. I know the healthcare business. We need to have reform in healthcare. We need, we have great healthcare in this country. The problem is it costs too much.
Right.
The president's bill doesn't do anything to do about it. It has nothing about cost. The way it's controlling costs is by cutting payments to doctors and hospitals and nurses and home health care and nursing homes. And, he's going to cut those payments, and then you're not going to have access to care, So the
doctors
there, to me.
So the doctors there in Traverse City, Dan, in your professional opinion as a doctor, they don't want, based on what they see coming down the road here in the implementation of Obamacare, they don't want any more new patients because maybe they're not even going to continue accepting Medicare in the future if this goes through.
Because it doesn't pay for their costs. And you have to, you got a certain amount of fixed costs. You got to pay your employees. You got to pay your malpractice insurance. You got to pay your rent. If you're seeing patients and it's not covering your expenses, how can you stay in business?
Mm-hmm.
You can't do the same thing for somebody if they're going to pay you half as much as another patient. You got to see the patient that will, keep your business afloat. And that's just what's going to happen with medicine all across the country. And more people are finding out exactly what you found out.
Yeah.
That, it's going to have access to care is going to be a huge issue under the President Obama's plan. That's why we need to repeal it.
Right. Well, I've got a few other friends of ours that are, of course, living here in northern Michigan and in the UP. And a lot of them are saying that if they don't get the care, it's a situation, where do they go? Can they move? This thing is so impacting so many people's lives that they're saying if you guys aren't able to win this election to get Romney elected and hopefully a majority in the Senate, this could absolutely, when this thing gets fully implemented, just absolutely ruin our healthcare system.
Well, exactly, Randy. I mean, I completely agree with you. You know, I want to preserve Medicare, not, take $700 billion out of it. And,
right.
That's the only thing we know about my opponent is that he supports the president's plan.
Right.
And, we need to keep the majority in the House. We need to win the Senate. And, I think Mr. Romney did a good job last night making his case that he should be the next president of the United States.
Yeah.
Need to have some common sense solutions to the problems facing Northern Michigan. Number one being the unemployment situation. And number two, health care and the debt. Those are the three biggest issues that I see going forward. I'm committed to trying to solve these problems.
Right.
And I think Mr. Romney is a leader that we need to, talk to all sides and let's start solving problems. Mr. Obama doesn't even talk to people in Congress. You know what I mean? He hasn't put on any legislation that talk to us about. It's just unbelievable, the disconnect he has with the Congress and the American people.
Right. Now, one of the points about your race specifically that I was very surprised to learn, Gary McDowell, some of his commercials is showing him as being a farmer in the UP and all that. But I was really shocked to learn that Gary McDowell has been on the ballot every 2 years, going back almost 30 years. This guy's a career politician. I did not know that.
Yeah, he doesn't want people to know that. He is, looking for a job all the time.
Yeah.
I left my career to do this job because I'm just concerned about what's going to happen to my children and grandchildren. And, frankly, I'm not going to do this job forever, I hope to be there for a while and then go back home to the UP and maybe shoot some birds once this country is back on track.
Right. Now, one of the things, are you going to have, in light of what happened last night with the debate, are you going to have a debate with Gary McDowell?
Yeah, I think we got something in the works. I think it's going to be on the 14th. I can't remember the date exactly, Randy, but we are having some sort of a forum down, I think, in the Petoskey area. I think it's on the 14th, but you'll have to talk to the campaign people. I can't really remember.
Right. Well, good. Maybe we'll get information and see if we could possibly carry that live on the station. That would be a good thing. One last question. What are you doing specifically? We got 33 days to go before the election. Specifically, what are you doing in district to go around and to talk to the folks? Well,
I'm doing I'm on another tour, of course, you know what I mean? I'm doing my 32 in 32, which is 32 counties in 32 days. So, I'm trying to hit every single county in the district and do an event in all those counties. Right now we're headed down to Elk Rapids, and then we're going to head over to Alpena. I was in Keweenaw. I went to Copper Harbor a couple days ago. Up in the Keweenaw, went to Houghton County, went to Ontonagon County, went to Ogeeba County. I've had events all those places in Iron County, and we hit about half the counties in the UP. Now we're taking a little swing through the Lower Peninsula. We're going to be back and forth over the next 32 days, going to every single county in the district, talking to people, and asking for their support going forward. And it's been a privilege for me to be a member of the House and represent Northern Michigan. I read all the legislation that I've passed, that I voted for, Randy, and I try to vote in a way that I think the majority of the people want me to vote, and I would sure appreciate their support going forward.
Well, that's a good thing, Dan. We'll have you back on as this race progresses, especially prior to this debate. We'll make sure we get that information out to everybody, and like I said, maybe we can carry that debate if it's in Petoskey. We'll talk about that. But thanks for calling in. We appreciate your time, and stay safe out there on the trail.
All right. Thanks, Randy. See you, Greg.
So,
all right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Well, Greg, 32 counties in 32 days. That is a huge district to cover, the largest one east of the Mississippi River. And didn't know if people knew that, but man, that's a lot of miles to be covering over the next 32 days here before the election.
Well, that's plain and simply a have to, though, too, being how big this district is.
Well, when you're talking about going from Gogebic, almost to Minnesota, Wisconsin area, all the way down to Traverse City and over to Alpena. I mean, heck, he's in Elk Rapids this morning, and then that's a 130-mile trek across to Alpena. Man, that's just a lot of miles to cover and a lot of people to talk to. But I just got a message actually from Dan's assistant, legislative aide. The debate is actually on the 15th of October. And that's going to be sponsored by the Petoskey News and the League of Women Voters. So we'll have to talk about that and see what the details of.
We've already been reaching out so far to no avail, but we'll see.
Oh, well, we'll have to
We'll have to do exactly what we're already doing. Yeah.
Well, we are going to be in a situation here, I think, where Dan, on this debate on the 15th, now I'm going to look at the calendar real quick here. That's Monday, a week from this coming Monday. I have debated Gary McDowell back in 2010 when he was in our 37th state Senate race for a short time before he decided to run for Dan's seat there, the U.S. Congress. One of the interesting things that I would like to have Dan do, much like what Romney did last night to President Obama, is I'd like to have Dan bring up Gary's voting record when he was in Lansing as a state representative. I've done some research, and actually I'm getting prepared to put out a blog about this. Gary McDowell voted for every single tax increase when he was in Lansing for the 6 years he was there. He voted every single time to raise taxes, including Jennifer Granholm's famous Michigan business tax. And I think that's something that, again, the voters in the 1st District need to know exactly where this guy stands, not only on Obamacare, but where is he on, raising taxes? Where is he on, things that have obviously hurt Michigan's economy, has driven people and jobs out of this state? I'm hoping Dan kind of takes the gloves off a little bit on this guy.
Well, obviously, this is an election that requires it. This is what the electorate doesn't want to. I don't see too many people patting everybody on the back about decorum. I see them patting themselves on the back about standing up, doing what's right. Right? Those are the kind of comments that are out there. Mm-hmm. So anybody would be doing themselves a disservice by just, I don't want to be too aggressive. I don't want to be, and I'm not saying Dan Benishek is, but whoever would operate like that, I think, is going to find to their peril that they're going to wish they hadn't.
Yeah, actually, the event's being hosted by IPR and the Petoskey News Review. So maybe that's why we're not getting much response if IPR's involved.
Well, that would have been nice of them to tell me that since during my telephone conversations.
Yeah, got that directly from Raffy Williams here. I'm chatting with him on Facebook. So, the thing of it is, I think that this presidential race, especially here in Michigan, if Romney doesn't pull out, like McCain did back in 2008, if he truly stays in Michigan for the long haul and really puts forth an effort in getting his message out, I think it's going to have a lot of benefit for both Pete Hoekstra in the U.S. Senate and all of our Congress people that are up for re-election here, especially, Dan and the other congressmen. I think it's going to have a major impact. The coattails, I think, are going to be pretty impactful this year.
Should be interesting. It's going to, there's going to be a lot. Will the coattails work like that, or are people voting individually? I mean, we'll see.
Yeah. Well, no, I think the individual vote is a good thing. Like you say, if you like your congressman, if you hear them, you ask them questions. There's debates. This one here, especially with Dan and Gary McDowell on Monday, October 15th. I think it's an opportunity. People should get out and make sure they go to that if you want to hear these guys debate. And again, if Dan calls Gary McDowell out on him being on the ballot, every 2 years for the past 30 years. And his voting record while he was in Lansing, a lot of this information people may not know. This is going to be Dan's hardest re-election. They say after your first term, they always say your re-election is the hardest because now he has a voting record. And how is he different than Gary McDowell on these issues?
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing these direct battles go on. It should be interesting.
Yep. Well, I got a Facebook comment said, good interview. Wish you would have asked him about the NDAA. That was something that I had talked to Dan about personally when he was down in Traverse City, and also challenged him a little bit there in public at the governor's breakfast. And Dan has come out and issued a statement that he is looking back at the details of this bill, especially Section 1021, and now doesn't necessarily think that he made the right vote on that. He feels maybe perhaps some wrong information or not correct information from Mike Rogers and Leon Panetta and others that he spoke to about it. There's actually a state House bill, Greg, I don't know if you're aware of this, House Bill 5768. State Representative Tom McMillan has introduced it in the House. It's been assigned to committee, but it's Michigan moving forward to actually nullify the NDAA and giving the president the power to indefinitely detain American citizens without a trial. That bill is in the committee and is going to be discussed as soon as they get back into session here in Michigan. So to answer your question there, friend on Facebook, I really didn't think it was necessary to ask Dan. I've heard him, basically say that, he got a little bit of information that he didn't think was now looking back, and as he's researching it more and more, he didn't realize the ramifications of this one particular section. And, it said so. It's bothered him. He mentioned in his one piece there that he had actually a couple sleepless nights studying it and looking it over, and was really kind of upset with those provisions. So that's why I didn't feel the need to ask him about it.
Yeah, he has come out and done that. That is correct. So he did
that with you on your show too, didn't he?
No, sir.
Oh, he didn't say that yet?
No.
Okay. Well, he did in an actual press release and an email blast that went out to the district. So I saw that, and again, I didn't want to question him on it because I think he's already answered it for me anyway, and I apologize for not bringing that up if the people felt I should have asked him about that. So, but we've got a lot more comments. People are still talking about this debate and the reaction from the liberal media and all the people that are really upset with Obama. I think he's going to definitely have to improve on the next debate based on these reactions. Of some of these comments are just unbelievable.
Well, President Obama is going to have to, if he shows a track record of doing this twice, it'll be too little too late by the time the third comes around. Well,
one of the people in the comment sections on this Red State article said that Romney actually went easy on Obama. He had a lot more abilities to attack the president than what he did last night, and they're hoping that Ryan, on the vice president's debate next Thursday, will pick up those that were left on the table by Romney and be able to use them on Biden.
It should be interesting to check out. We'll be watching for it indeed. So this is going to be a good one. 11:30 is what time it is in the Eastern Time Zone of the United States of America.